My name is Brian Moten. I'm the minister of the Church of Christ in Goose Creek, South Carolina, and this is your meditation moment. Not too long ago, I had a conversation with one of our sisters who was a single parent who was having difficulty in her life. I think we've all had some trials and some tribulations. This particular sister, who was a single parent, she was having difficulty with her child who just recently got suspended from school. In addition to her child being suspended from school, she got laid off from her second job. And so money was tight, but then to aggravate or exacerbate the situation, her ex-husband had stopped sending child support. And so she was distraught and she was prayerful, but yet she had some immediate needs, and she was trying to figure out how those needs can be met under those circumstances. And so, feeling her pain and her situation, of course, I reminded her of Philippians 4:19, where Paul says, "My God shall supply all your needs." Well, the sister said yes, but she says, "I've got all these things going on, and everything seems to be just crumbling around me. I don't want to lose my apartment. There isn't but so much I can do. My vehicle is not in the best shape." But then I reminded her, I told her, I said, "Listen, my sister, I love you. I'm going to pray for you. We're going to do everything that we can to help you in your time of difficulty. But above all, you need to know that God can bake a cake." She said, "What does baking have to do with anything?" I said, "Well, when was the last time you've eaten a stick of butter?" She said, "A stick of butter?" I said, "Yeah, when's the last time you've eaten a stick of butter?" She looked at me like I had three heads sitting on one neck. She said, "I don't eat butter. Butter's nasty. You can't just eat butter alone." I said, "Okay, well, forget about butter. You don't have a taste for butter." I said, "When's the last time you grabbed a handful of flour? Just put your hand into the bag of flour and begin to consume. When was the last time you did?" She said, "I've never done that. That's nasty. Who's going to stick their hand into the flour and just eat flour?" I said, "Well, if you don't eat butter and you won't eat flour, and both of those are nasty to you, well, then you need to recognize something." She says, "What do I need to recognize?" I said, "Well, if you take some butter, if you take some flour, if you take some vanilla extract, if you take some eggs and some other ingredients, and you mix all of those together and you put them in the pan and you blend them all up, and you put the pan with cake mix in it into the oven. When it comes out and you taste it, it's delicious." I stopped by to remind us that God can bake a cake. Your situation may be desperate. You may have lost your job. You may have car problems. You may have some sickness. Perhaps you've had relatives in your family that have passed away and you're still in the grieving process. Never forget, God can bake a cake. All of the events in your life may be awful. And you look at life and you look at the tornado and everything going around in your life, as chaotic as it may be, and you say, "This is awful." But remember, God can bake a cake. God can take the worst circumstances that you have in this life, mix them all together, and serve them to you, and it'll be wonderful. What's your point, preacher? Child of God, never forget Romans 8:28, where Paul says, "And we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to his purpose." We have to understand that God can take all the negativity, things that folk have said about you, things that are happening to you, things that you are experiencing, the frustrations of this life, and God can make something beautiful happen. Never doubt the power of God. Learn to lean on his everlasting arm. My name is Brian Moten. I'm the minister of the Church of Christ in Goose Creek, South Carolina. We're at 539 Old Monks Corner Road. Visit us on the web at www.goosecreek.org. GooseCreekChurchOfChrist.com. We'd be delighted to meet you. May God ever bless you and keep you. This has been your meditation moment.